Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Buddha Sport podcast. I'm here with Nicholas Marabella. We have been planning this podcast for a few months now. We had a semi-successful radio show. I thought it was successful. We're funny as shit, and so we're trying to get the podcast off the ground and get the information that the wonderful website, offers out to you guys for the people who are too lazy to read the articles. We can give you a video feed and an audio feed, and I would appreciate your feedback, as I'm sure Nick would as well, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and so we can make this successful and get it booming on iTunes. So how you doing today, Nick?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you?
I'm great. We're going to start off with jump right into it with a couple current topics here. Apparently, Matt Hughes officially came out of retirement to announce his retirement today.
Were you a Matt Hughes fan or no?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
But this is
even if his name was Matt, you didn't have any kind of bond with him.
I hate my name though, bro. There's certain people that I'm not a fan of for reasons pertaining to fighting, and there's just certain people that I'm not a fan of, but I respect, what
his
they
fighting ability.
Yeah. In Matt Hughes' prime, he was the greatest welterweight in the world. I think a lot of that, not to take anything away from what he accomplished, I think a lot of that was due to the fact that the welterweight division in that time period was kind of bleak. But no doubt Matt Hughes is, in my opinion, top 5 to top 10 most accomplished UFC fighters of all time. But it's not. I don't like seeing fighters go in there and then offering a former shell of themselves. You know what I mean? His last showing against BJ Penn was just, less than impressive. His showing against Matt Serra, that's not the Matt Hughes that scooped up Carlos Newton and ran his ass across the cage and drove him into the cage. You know what I mean?
Was that Frank Trigg? Or was both?
It was Frank Trigg.
Yeah.
It was Frank Trigg. The Matt Hughes Carlos Newton thing is where he had him in the triangle up on the cage.
Yeah, and he slammed him down. Matt woke up first.
Yeah.
He was in badass fights.
Yeah, he was in some real good fights, but
it was a talent pool. Like him in his prime against a GSP in his prime. Well, we saw that happen.
Yeah, but look at the two fights that stuck in our mind: Carlos Newton, who has a sub 500 record, and Frank Trigg, who is it's fucking Frank Trigg. Let's be serious.
Frank. And no offense, Frank Trigg will whoop my ass, but
yeah, come the fuck out.
He's not the first thing that popped in my mind when I think of badass motherfucking fighters.
No. Like, when I think of Frank Trigg, I think of a goofy-looking bald dude and gay-ass tattoos.
He's got badass tattoos. What are you talking about?
I think fighting with Frank Trigg is like 5th or 6th on the list. There's sometimes when I talk about Frank Trigg that I totally forget he's even a fighter.
He's a ring commentator, too.
Yeah, and he's not a very good one. The combo of him and Jay Glazer has probably spawned 4 or 5 suicide attempts. He retired today. Back on the subject, Matt Hughes retired today. And like I said, no disrespect to Matt. Matt had a great career. And you can only fight who's available. And I think I lost. My fanhood eked out the window when he destroyed Royce Gracie. You know what I mean? Because for me, I was so mesmerized by jiu-jitsu when jiu-jitsu kind of blew up in the combat scene, and to see that maybe jiu-jitsu wasn't as strong as we all thought it was, because we all remember Royce Gracie taking on giants. You know what I mean? Little did we know that these giants weren't trained at all.
It was a different Royce Gracie, and everyone knows jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, and my point is Royce Gracie, if Royce Gracie becomes a fighter today, and starts, let's say Royce Gracie doesn't exist and he becomes a fighter today, he's an average fighter. He has no stand-up. He has no wrestling. He's all jiu-jitsu. He's
not even an average fighter.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even make it into the UFC.
No.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't even make it out of Ring of Combat.
Yeah, and I agree. So seeing Royce Gracie dismantled like that kind of fucked my head up, because I thought jiu-jitsu was the dopest thing since pants with pockets. Just imagine the first person who ever had a pair of pants that had pockets in it. You know what I mean? That shit was dope, right?
Yeah, they were badass. They had
right.
nickels shit in there, quarters.
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that was my view of jiu-jitsu. So a lot of when I seen Matt Hughes, and that's childish on my part, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
When I see Matt Hughes dismantle Royce Gracie like that, that's kind of what what spawned me into not like being a Matt Hughes fan. And
I thought he should have snapped his arm.
I don't think he could have.
I think he was like he heard it pop in. Yeah, maybe you're right. He couldn't submit him. He was really trying for the arm.
I think Matt Hughes has that drive. Like I think that's one thing that GSP lacks. And it's another reason why I think Matt Hughes was such a successful champion, because I think he has that
Frank,
that chromosome to where he's like he'll snap your arm. You know what I mean? Like I think had that been Matt Hughes versus Dan Hardy at UFC 111, I think we would have seen Dan Hardy's arm broke. You know what I mean? Like so. Yeah. I think if he could have, he would have. You know what I mean? And who knows how to defend? Yeah, who knows how to defend an armbar better than Royce Gracie though?
Yeah, well, he was in it.
Yeah, he was
just bearing through the torn ligaments that was happening and cracking and popping.
He's a tough son of a bitch.
But it was like a straight armbar. It was like it wasn't like a between the legs armbar, a traditional armbar.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. So Matt Hughes. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, right? He got elected in the Hall of Fame.
He's a Hall of Famer, yes, sir.
Yeah. And rightfully so, he should be.
I agree 100%.
But he faded out real quick. Like I think your Chuck Liddells, those knockout powerful fighters, they'll last a little longer in the spotlight and in the names of the who's who are fighting. But they don't really bring up Matt Hughes' name at all.
Well, look at the resumes though. You know what I mean? Like Chuck Liddell's got he's got wins over Vanderlei Silva. He's got wins over Randy Couture. He's got wins over Tito Ortiz. Like, he fought.
But he fought everyone that he had to fight.
Yeah, but, like, he fought, I think, in my opinion, a more set of quality fighters than Matt Hughes did.
And he also jumped over to Pride, too, for a couple fights.
Yeah. He beat Overeem in Pride and then lost to Rampage in Pride. I think those were his only 2 fights, no? Overeem and Rampage? I'll have to
Did he lose Rampage and Pride?
Yeah, the first Rampage was in Pride. Rampage won them both. But I think I'm gonna look it up. I think his only 2 fights in Pride, I believe, were the Overeem fight, which was an excellent fight. It's actually one of my favorite fights of all time. And I hate Chuck Liddell. I wouldn't care if Chuck Liddell died of venereal disease. I don't even know what venereal disease is. It just sounds really cool to say.
How do you hate Chuck Liddell?
You know why I hate Chuck Liddell. Why do we have to bring this up?
Why?
Because he beat the shit out of Tito Ortiz.
I completely forgot about that. Twice.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, like it doesn't
You're
make.
Mad at him for that? Doing his job?
No, I'm not mad at him for that. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't make much sense on why I hate Chuck Liddell more than I hate Randy Couture, because Randy Couture actually spanked Tito Ortiz. But I think Tito Ortiz could have beat Randy Couture. And I knew that in watching Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell fight, that Tito Ortiz could never beat Chuck Liddell.
Could beat Chuck, too, if he really wanted to.
I don't think so.
He could have. If he really worked his wrestling, got with a good striking coach.
But don't you think if he could have done that, he would have?
No.
Why though? Tito Ortiz he's a legend.
I think he would have, but I don't think he did. I think mentally is also where he was a little weak, but physically he could beat Tito.
Right.
Beat Chuck.
He fought Guy Metzger in Pride as well. At Pride 14, he knocked Guy Metzger out.
And then he knocked Guy out, and Overeem beat him.
No, he beat Overeem.
Did he?
He KO'd Overeem. It was a badass fight. It was in the same.
Is that legit or is that just?
No, that's legit. That's legit. It was the same tournament where he ended up fighting Rampage. Like he beat Overeem.
I was supposed to fight in that tournament. I remember.
Yeah, you were.
I couldn't catch a flight over there.
He beat Overeem, and then that was like in August or something, and he advanced to the quarterfinal or semifinal, however it went, and ended up losing to Quentin.
Anyway, real quick, Matt Hughes, fantastic fighter. Glad to see you finally retire.
Yeah, they gave him a VP job. They gave him Vice President of Athlete Development and Government Relations, a.k.a. they gave him money to be Matt Hughes, which is lame as fuck, because I guarantee he won't be doing shit with that position.
Nah, it's more customer relations. It's probably going to be the same thing to Vanderlei. I mean, Chuck does something now.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, Chuck's had a job with the UFC since he retired, but what does he actually do? You know what I mean? I guess
he does shit behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
What?
They're not going to pay him. They're businessmen. They're not going to be like, you know what? You were a good fighter. Here's $120,000 a year to do nothing.
I guarantee that's what happens. Have you ever seen a Chuck Liddell interview? He is an idiot. I hope Chuck Liddell doesn't watch this. But he is an idiot. Like, the man is an idiot. Like,
no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
It's like, no. First of all, he's a college graduate,
and
that doesn't mean anything. But he has to be smart enough to at least write an exam and write a paper, pass an exam. And write a paper. He is intelligent.
Look at all the people who play in the NBA who are also college graduates.
That's different, though.
Why?
They're getting a scholarship based on their athletic performance.
But didn't Chuck Liddell get a wrestling scholarship?
Probably not.
He was an awesome wrestler in college. That's how his takedown defense is so good.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't like a D1 school. It wasn't like a national champion.
No, it was a small school. You're right.
Yeah, so they're not going to pay him to go there. He's not going to.
So how many man hours do you think Chuck Liddell puts in a day for the UFC?
I would say 8 to 10 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're naive.
No, because I'm talking like at home too, texting on the phone. Who's he hooking up with? Like meetings, setting up, shit like that. Throughout the whole course of the day, he's doing something for the UFC. Probably 8 to 10 hours a day.
In 2012, Buddhasport.com did more for the UFC than Chuck Liddell.
I don't think so, man. I think Chuck actually does legitimate work.
But what though?
I'm not his boss. I'm not. I know,
but you can't say that just off speculation because you want it to be correct.
I got a strong ass vibrate in that phone.
I know, right?
Put that shit on Do Not Disturb.
I'm an important person.
Put it on Do Not Disturb, so you won't hear that shit vibrating.
Anyway, so Matt Hughes gets a VP job. Congratulations, Matt Hughes. Nick seems to think that you'll be working. I know you won't be doing shit, but you deserve it. Congratulations. I wish I had a soundboard where I could cue a round of applause.
I think that's a good job for Matt. I think Matt likes to be on a farm and do farming shit.
But like, he's not wants to be doing anything.
Well, if he's not, he's going to get fired.
No, come on, man.
I think, personally, that could just be like a good, like the UFC big, listen, you're still in good graces to the public, and we take care of our fighters type deal, like PR type shit.
And I agree with that, and I'm cool with that, and I like that, and I'm glad they do it. But, like, don't give them some fake-ass job title. You know what I mean? Like, call it a pension.
I think Gabe Rudiger would do more in that position than Matt Hughes.
Well, he would have more to gain.
I think Gabe would definitely be a better fit for that position. So,
do you remember watching Joe Loizon throw Gabe Rudiger around?
I do.
That was the funniest shit ever.
And one of my most memorable fights I've ever been to.
It was cool. I dug it. You know, with Joe being from Massachusetts too, that place was going insane.
Yeah, that place was nuts. Yeah.
So we got a UFC on Fox 6 coming up this Saturday. What do you think about the card? It's free though.
I like that it's free, and I also like the card itself. The main card normally is like a spotty for a lot of these free events, but I think we got a pretty good main card.
What's your favorite fight on the card?
To watch, the favorite fight I think is a Cerrone Pettis fight.
Me too. I'm excited about that fight.
Excited to watch that fight just because I think that could be the most evenly matched in terms of skill-wise, back and forth talent. Like, we're going to see a good kickboxing match. I think both guys are good in the ground, and they both have an answer for each other.
See, I think Cerrone is way better than Pettis.
I mean, straight kickboxing, technical kickboxing, Cerrone might be able to put together some combinations as a technical kickboxer. But in terms of an athlete and as a striking athlete, I think Pettis has the edge there.
Really? His jits is better, no?
No, I don't think his jits is better.
Really?
I think their jits are pretty equal.
I don't know. I've never seen Anthony Pettis use jiu-jitsu. He's a very good wrestler. You know what I mean? He uses he's a grappler in the sense I believe he's more of a wrestler than a jits guy. I think we've seen Pettis, you know, what's the fight that he got dominated with the wrestling against Guida, and then he was crying about it. So his very next fight, he did the same thing to Jeremy Stevens. He did the same thing to Jeremy Stevens, held him down, won the fight with wrestling, which, you know, I mean, I'm not mad at that. But I don't remember seeing any type of offensive jiu-jitsu from Anthony Pettis back to the UFC or even currently. And you know, like Cerrone attacks from his back. He's got really good triangles. He had some submission victories in the WEC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I think Pettis did as well.
Yeah, but you have to admit that the resume...
He has 6 subs.
But against who? You have to admit that the resume of fighters that Donald Cerrone faced in the WEC was at a much higher caliber than Anthony Pettis. Didn't get a tough fight in the WEC until he fought. What's his
Shane
face?
Royler.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
He subbed Alex Karalexis. He's not like a fucking slouch.
I mean, kinda. He's from Boston though.
Jay Ellis, he subbed.
Yeah, dude, that's my point.
Jay Ellis is badass. What are you talking about?
I guarantee that if anybody even watches this podcast, the first 7 people who watch it don't even know who that is.
To be honest with you, when's the last time Jay Ellis fought? I think at that fight, it might have been 2008 when he got subbed by Anthony Pettis.
Right, exactly.
No, but Alex Karalexis, Shane Royler, both by triangle. You know what it is too? They both got them long legs. Their triangles are both going to be good. They both of them are good at triangles. They're good from their back because they have that long legs, that long reach with their legs to wrap people up with. On their feet, same thing with their kicks or striking. Anthony Pettis is a little more, I think, explosive and a little more creative, whereas Cerrone has your basic standard kickboxing style down pat.
But wouldn't you agree that people kind of pulled back on the Cerrone train with the Nate Diaz fight? Like I don't think that.
No. No, they could have pulled back. I think this is gonna make him. He's gonna come out good. He's gonna come
I
out
think Donald Cerrone is a better fighter than Nate Diaz. I think that if he can wrap his mind around that fight, I think he beats Nate Diaz 10 out of 10 times. I honestly believe that. If he can wrap his mind around that fight, which is a big part. I'm not saying that, you know. And as I'm looking at, Donald Cerrone has submissions over much better people. He subbed out Dennis Seaver.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
I just think that
on paper, yes, it looks like Cerrone has better jiu-jitsu, but Pettis didn't really fight enough caliber fighters. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's my point, though. I think that Pettis is in over his head in this fight.
But if you gave him a chance, but it's not going to be a fight like Clay Guida. He's not going to come in there, and Clay's not going to fucking fight it safe. Cerrone's not going to fight safe like Clay and hold him down. But as a fighter, you should be able to get him.
Who wins?
That's why I want to watch the fight. That's why it's exciting.
But who do you think wins?
I think Pettis is going to be hungrier.
I think Cerrone finishes him easily.
Really?
Yeah.
We could put a little wager in this thing.
I like that. You got to look at it from this aspect. Like Cerrone was on a tear going into the Nate Diaz fight. The Nate Diaz fight.
Nate got in his head though.
Yeah. Nate got in his head, but Nate beat him, a legit loss. But I think that people they seen Cerrone's performance, so I think they kind of tend to underestimate the quality of fighter Cerrone is. Look what he did to Melvin Guillard. I think Melvin Guillard beats Anthony Pettis.
I don't know. That's another tough fight.
Yeah.
I like Guillard. I like Melvin a lot.
And Cerrone.
I just wish he just, worked on his jiu-jitsu or he did something.
I wish he'd just do some guillotine defense. He'd be fine.
Fucking rear naked choke, something. But I think in terms of this fight card, this is probably the most exciting, evenly matched fight.
If chokes were illegal, Melvin Guillard would be undefeated.
Poor Melvin.
I know. That's my buddy, too.
It just sucks, dude. Like, 1, 2, 3, okay, you got to work on it. At this level of the game, you don't belong in the top 10.
Look at how he fought Jim Miller, too. And Jim Miller's a stud. I
thought Jim had a bad night that night.
Of course you're going to have a bad night when you walk into a huge knee for Melvin Guillard.
But Jim's just his name.
I think that, in my opinion, excluding the outcome, I think that fight says more about the quality of the fighter that Guillard was than Jim Miller.
Yeah, Guillard fought awesome.
Right.
If he didn't get caught in that, but Jim Miller's never out of a fight.
No, not at all.
The kid's, he's fucking bad.
He's the real deal, right?
Yeah, and that fight with Lauzon. We'll get on that too in a minute, but I want to talk about the main card. So I'm excited about that fight. I'm thinking Pettis. I do like Cerrone. He's one of my favorite lightweights too. I just personally think that Pettis, he's hungry. He's a little hungrier.
I don't see it. I never understood that, the Pettis talk for, the title shot. He feels like...
I didn't either. when he fought Lauzon, I thought Lauzon was going to mop the floor with him.
Me too. Me too.
And you know what he could have if he didn't hit that head kick. You don't know what could have happened.
Right.
I think that shows Anthony Pettis. That shows something that, something about his hunger and how he feels eating pickles.
Is it unethical to eat a pickle during a podcast?
I don't know about ethical. I don't think there's any ethics really involved in that. I don't know. What kind of pickle is it? Maybe we get a little sponsorship. Nice. Hot and spicy, too. You like hot and spicy pickles.
They're top of the line pickles.
They are. Send them an email. Tell them we want $40,000 for that.
At least. I mean, because I guarantee we're going to get at least 20,000 viewers first 20 minutes.
Yeah. Because we only, been live with this for about 20 minutes.
Right.
All right.
But anyway, first fight, let's take it back, just scale it back 1 minute to the Eric Koch versus Ricardo Lamas fight. Ricardo Lamas is interesting to me because, he just flies under the radar. Because when you talk about great fighters in this 145 division, his name never comes up. You know what I mean? And, everybody is even myself included, is kind of just forgetting about, how good this kid is. Eric Koch, he hasn't lost since the Money Mendez fight, which there's no shame in losing to Chad Mendez.
Gosh.
Yeah, there's no shame in losing to Chad Mendez. He's put 4 straight wins together. But if you remember correctly, Hatsu Hayoki came into the UFC with huge what's the word I'm looking for?
No.
Hype. He came through with the hype. Ricardo Lamas beat him in a decisive 3-round decision. The kid's 12-2. I think that he just flies under the radar. He's just one of those fighters who.
You know who he reminds me of? Like Jim Miller was a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a flashy name. He's not a flashy fighter. He just goes in there and gets the job done.
Yeah. I
think a lot of people are writing him off, and I honestly think that he's going to win this fight.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
I think if I had a bet on it, I would bet on him. I would bet on Ricardo. He's a brown belt in jits. He's a D3 wrestler. You
want to talk about hungry? You said being hungry.
Yeah.
I think that sums him up.
I think he's just he's a worker. You know what I mean? If he can't finish you or sub you or knock you out, he'll just outwork you.
I think that Eric Koch relies too much on potential. You know what I mean? And that's just a personal assessment. I don't have any type of information to back
to really call this fight, if I really had a bet on it, what I would do is I would have to watch their last 3 fights separately each and make a decision on it.
Right.
Because like I said, both of them they don't have any memorable moments in my mind. When they fought.
No, I think Ricardo Lamas has beaten Hatsu Hayoki, especially the hype train that he brought in. I think that's quite memorable.
He catch?
What?
He caught him, right?
No, a decision. But it was a decisive decision. He caught him a bunch in the fight, never enough to put him away. But he put hands on him, beat him with wrestling. It was a decisive decision.
Check this out here.
I guess I didn't know how strong this preliminary card was until just now.
So you're sort of looking at it?
Yeah.
I got Nails predictions up right now too. Nails picking Koch for that fight, and he's picking Cerrone.
I think anybody with a brain's picking Cerrone.
No, I guarantee you. Well, Pettis has a huge hype train, and the problem is
from that kick. That's what it is. It's that fucking kick.
It's all from that kick. That's where it's from. And then the people who don't like Pettis, I feel it's because of that kick. They think he's not a one-trick pony, but it was that one flash, one fluke. He beat Ben Henderson, and then he caught Lauzon with another kick.
He knocked out Danny Castillo with a kick too.
So the kid's got power.
Mm-hmm.
To knock anybody out cold in the UFC, you need that power.
You could do it.
That'd be a pretty good striker.
You could do it.
I'm a badass motherfucker.
Touche.
I
don't know. I just don't. I've never seen. Don't get me wrong. That kick was spectacular, and a lot of people feel that. I had it even going into that 5th round. Ben Henderson versus Anthony Pettis.
I truly think that Ben won that fight.
See, I can't say that because it was such an even fight. You needed that one moment that put somebody over the edge.
That was yeah. But if it wasn't for that kick, if that kick never happened,
Ben wins the fight.
Won that fight.
Yeah, for sure.
I truly think he won that fight, except for that kick, because not only did it win the round, he knocked him down with a kick, so it's a knockdown. And when you talk about octagon control and then aggression, you don't really get too much more aggressive and coming forward. And controlling the cage? Well, he ran off the cage. He controlled the fucking thing.
You own that fucking cage.
Yeah, that's your cage. Yeah, they should have gave him that cage.
They might have.
Should have that in his backyard.
Or at least a portion of it, like hanging on his wall or something.
They gave Joe Lauzon the canvas from his fight with Jimmy.
Did they?
Yeah.
Why? I feel like Jimmy should own that.
I mean, half of his blood was on there, so they should cut that in half.
That's like, to me, that's like a chicken and the egg type argument, because like, who deserves it more, the guy who spilt the blood or the guy who forced the blood to spill?
Would you really want some dude's blood hanging like all soaked canvas now?
Yeah, fuck yeah. And Joe Lauzon's a tough fighter. Like if it was somebody like Anthony Pettis' blood, then fuck no. But if it's Joe, I
like Joe.
Me too.
Hey, you know what's badass about him? Because we love to jump and change subjects. The fact that he just got his stitches in the locker room and is filming that shit and then went to the press conference. I would say 60% or 75% of the fighters in the UFC would have not been at that press conference.
I agree. Like I was
and even sit next to Jimmy.
I was even surprised by the composure he kept throughout that fight. Because, like to put yourself in that position, when you feel that type of blood running down your face, you're going to think that cuts worse than it is automatically. That's just human nature. You're going to think it's bad. And you
got to think they're going to stop the fight. That's your biggest fear too.
He never wavered away from what he was doing. He never looked scared. He never the blood never seemed to bother him. If you remember correctly, after the cut was administered, I believe it was it the first round or the second round?
First round.
First round. In between the first and second round, he's standing in his corner like pumping the crowd up. You know what I mean? Like he's a warrior, dude. And I'm not a Joe Lauzon fan, and I'm not a Joe Lauzon hater. And after that fight, like I gained a new respect for that man, because that's the definition of a fighter. He's the reason why people like Leonard Garcia and can lose 4 or 5 fights in a row and not get cut, because those are the type of fighters that company wants. And I just gained a lot of respect for him. I love Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like I became a Jimmy fan, kind of vicariously through you, and then kind of realized how great a fighter he was. But I just learned, to love someone the way that shit was just amazing.
I like Jimmy, and you know what? I've seen Jimmy train, and I've never been impressed with him when he fought a lot, because I've always known him to be a better fighter than he displayed when he fought.
Word.
He subbed out Oliveira.
That was dope. I thought he was going to lose that fight.
But that's exactly what I mean. He's like with Gillard. He was kind of on the losing end of these exchanges.
I thought he was going to lose that fight too.
And I think he put his hands together, and he came out in a completely different style than Lauzon's ever seen. And I think Joe was like, "What the fuck is this?"
How badass were those elbows that he stole from Jon Jones?
That was. And Jimmy's got a long reach.
Right.
Like his reach is long. His hands drag on the ground when he walks. He's like got monkey arms. So. And that was the first time I actually saw Jimmy fight outside of training, because I seen him train and was like, he's a fucking bad motherfucker. Like,
my thing about Jimmy, though, is like, I think he single-handedly changed Oliveira's career. I think that if Oliveira wins that fight, like he's no longer a prelim guy. Like that kid had mad potential. Like
he was on a hype train. He stopped his hype train.
Yeah, and I thought, like I honestly believe that he single-handedly altered the route of his career with that fight, because
and he lost those though,
but not like that. Like I honestly think that had he won that fight, we'd be talking about Oliveira in the top contenders in that weight class right now.
Yeah.
And Jimmy just went and dismantled him. Nobody thought he was going to knee bar
This is the difference. But Oliveira dropped to 45 now, and this is the difference between a real talented fighter, like a true fighter, like Jimmy got finished by Nate for the first time in his career, and then came back and had that fight, and came back with like nothing ever happened, and that can break you as a fighter for a couple fights to kind of get your mental aspect of the fight back. You know,
Right.
it takes a while to get your fight back into you. You know, because you're afraid to lose again.
It's and I seen something on the Ultimate Fighter, the episode that just aired on Tuesday, and one of the contestants on there, he said something I'd never heard before, which is rare because a lot of these things that when you see bios, whether it be on the Ultimate Fighter or in just an actual UFC interview or something, a lot of their beliefs, there's so many fighters and MMA is so popular, it's recycled bullshit. And he said that if you were at peace with the worst possible outcome, then there's no way you can be anything but positive at the end of the fight. So if you're okay with losing before the fight ever happens, if you come to peace with losing before the fight ever happens, then there's no way you can lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to lose your ego.
Yeah, and it was it was something that I had heard, and I'd never heard it before. Maybe I have, just not put like that. And I kind of feel that like Jim Miller, I think that he kind of personifies that without actually saying that, because seeing him he's just such a normal dude. You know what I mean? Like he's just so outside of the norm of.
He makes his kids cribs and shit.
Yeah, dude. He's just.
He like cuts the wood and like measures.
I feel like he should be born in West Virginia, and he should be on the show Moonshiners.
Yeah, no, legit. He should. He brews his own beer. He changes his own brakes in his driveway and shit. Like he's like, oh, time to change the oil. I'm gonna change my oil today and mow the lawn and like people. He's
90% of the population mow their own lawn, dude. That's not
impressive. No, by us, everyone took out a landscaper.
They don't mow their own lawn with scissors like Jim Miller does.
Uses nail clippers.
So the rest of this card is interesting. We got Clay Guida versus Hioki, who we spoke about earlier.
Guida's winning that fight.
I would say so. I just think, Guida is just so good at controlling a fight. He's, in my opinion, Guida's the shittiest good fighter in the UFC. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, because he's so good at controlling a fight, but actually doesn't really do much in the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen Clay Guida beat somebody up, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so I agree, but I wouldn't.
I've seen Clay Guida get fucked up and just not stop coming.
Yeah, that's my point. You know what I mean? Like, he's the goodest, shittiest fighter.
The goodest.
Yeah. Ryan Bader versus Vladimir Matyushenko, the janitor.
I don't like this fight.
I don't like the fact that Matyushenko fights at all. Like,
and if you look at his record, you'd be like, wow, he's a badass fighter.
Dude, he's fought everybody, dude. He's fought everybody. And
Gustafsson destroyed him. Jones destroyed him. And I think it's getting to the part of his career where he's 40 years old now, right? 40-something?
He's got to be He's got to be in the late 30s if he's not 40 already. I don't think he's 40 already.
He's close to it. If not, he looks like he is.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's been through some war. I mean, you got to think. He's been around. Well, he's born in 71. So.
Oh, yeah, he's 40.
Well, no, dude. He's only 30. Or he's 42. You're right. I'm sorry. My math is horrible.
Yeah.
30. Yeah, he's 42. But he's been around since Pedro Hizzo, and he's fought Arlovsky, he's fought both Nogueira brothers, he's fought Jon Jones, he's fought Tito Ortiz, he fought Yuki Kondo. What I mean? Like,
his body's ready. His body's saying, it's time to retire.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? Like you got to think. Here's his last 4 wins. Jason Brill's out of the UFC. Alexandre Fieri, he's probably out of the UFC. I can't say for sure, but let's be serious. I don't even know who he is. Elliot Marshall, out of the UFC. Igor Pakjerich, he's still in the UFC, not doing too good. Alex Schoner, I don't even know how to say it. And that was in the IFL. You know what I mean? So, like, these are your last...
For the IFL, too.
The IFL was dope. Did you like the IFL?
I thought it was pretty cool.
I liked it. I think that with... I think the finances were the only issue. I mean, the format was a little weird. Like, I think there's always a way that you could have tweaked the format, but I thought it was cool because
I think the IFL came out in the wrong time. I think if the IFL came out now with the proper financing, like someone handling the money very well, it would do well.
Well, the IFL came out when the UFC, when that first initial boom, you know what I mean? Like, it was right around the time of the Ultimate Fighter.
What's the mainstream now?
No, it wasn't. But it was when your purest fans were at the peaked interest. You know what I mean? It was during the Ultimate Fighter. You know what I mean? Like there's 2 or 3 notable events that probably gained most of the UFC fans who weren't fans from the beginning. The Forrest Griffin fight, Chuck Liddell, and things, and that's right around the time that all that, Chuck was in his reign, Forrest was coming up. That's when the UFC hit that first initial boom. Is when the IFL was trying to make it.
Yeah, the IFL, I just felt it was like you said, a weird format, and if it's now, it's cool because you could actually get the IFL as a league of people who are going to head to the UFC.
See, I wish they would do that, and they say that about a lot of leagues. That's why I think the debunking of the WEC and places like Strikeforce, to me, that's ignorant. You know what I mean? Like Dana White is back to these weird like similes and analogies. Like Dana White is like the smartest dumb dude I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? For numerous reasons.
Well, I think with Dana White, he worked so hard. There's not a man, I feel, in the entertainment business besides Ryan Seacrest who works harder than Dana White.
And I don't disagree with that. The UFC,
that's why.
The UFC is what it is because of Dana White. Like Dana White does way more good than he does bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that. But with that being said, like, why do you not keep the WEC around? Why do you not keep the Strikeforce around for the guys?
It doesn't make money.
I understand that, but he makes enough money to where you can keep an organization like this around to secure the longevity of the UFC. Let's be honest, like nothing lasts forever. So these guys that go to the Ultimate Fighter, instead of giving 7 dudes from the Ultimate Fighter contracts, give 1 dude a contract like you promote. Because they promote giving 1 dude a contract, and 7 dudes always get contracts. Give 1 dude a contract, send the other 6 dudes to the WEC or to Strikeforce, and build them there. And then because when the
they make no money. There's enough organizations now.
How would it not make any money? I know people who go to MMA shows where they don't know a single fighter just because they want to go to an MMA show. How would it not make money? It wouldn't generate mass amounts of money, but it would secure the longevity, and it would also secure the secret monopoly they're currently trying to build. Because if you have the UFC, and then you have this farm system to where you're creating the greatest fighters in the world, where it's
see exactly what you said. They're going to be considered a monopoly. They let them own. You spread yourself too thin. It's like the NFL starting a Division II type league.
But they don't need to because they have college football. But Major League Baseball does it. All the stars that are currently in Major League Baseball, with the exception of a small few who were gifted at a real young age, all were brewed in a minor league system. It only makes sense. Because what seems more like creating a monopoly, buying up all the companies around you and engulfing them into your company, or having some subsidiary companies to produce better fighters so you can secure your number 1 spot for a longevity.
I think they tried that. I think they tried that with Strikeforce, and it's too hard.
Dana White hated Strikeforce. He hated Showtime. He hated the way they did their business, and so he was like, "Fuck Strikeforce. We're just going to engulf them."
I think they were thinking about really making it work. I think they really wanted to make it work. Try and have another league for people, the up and comers, and make it entertaining. And I think the IFL could be that league if it came back.
But I think the UFC has showed that they don't want that league.
Because but here's the cool thing: you take guys like Matt Hughes, guys like Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, and you make them team coaches now. And now you have like a cool ass team.
I like that team thing because anybody who's ever been involved in MMA, whether it's reporting MMA, coaching MMA, fighting MMA, you then realize once you become like really engrossed in the sport, you then realize the only thing you do as an individual is the actual fight. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, MMA is not an individual sport. You know what I mean? Because if
game plans, nutritionists, cutting weight, GSP's team behind him is ridiculous.
Right.
Where
would Rory McDonald be without GSP?
But Rory McDonald started MMA when he was in the womb. Like, he was fucking triangling his umbilical cord.
Do you think Rory McDonald can beat GSP?
No.
I think he beats him right now. I think Rory McDonald's the best welterweight in the world right now. And now I've been saying this for a while. Now we have video evidence of me being the genius that I am, and me proving everybody else involved in this website wrong.
GSP is way too strong, and he'll get in his
Stronger
head.
than Rory McDonald?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he is.
No.
Yeah.
Did you arm wrestle them both?
I think I'm stronger than Rory McDonald. On juice, though. Not natural. 2 weeks.
I think Rory McDonald could probably actually throw you like a football.
I'm out of shape right now, so yeah.
But that doesn't. That would make it harder for him to throw because you'd be having dead weight, dead fat.
No, if I was in good shape, I would lock in, man.
You'd hone in?
Yeah, lock right in there.
All right, I'm going to run down this card, and I just want you to pick your winners, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Okay?
All right.
We're going to start from the bottom. Rafael Natal versus Sean Spencer. I've never heard of Sean Spencer. I bet he's really good, though. Natal, good pick. Yeah. You're not wrong. That one was easy, though. That's a Facebook fight. You never get the Facebook fights wrong.
It's a Vex card fight. It's irrelevant. Who cares? All right, we got
Pascal Cross versus Mike Stump.
I like Kraus.
Me too. I really like Cross's jits is sick, and he's just fun to watch fight. I think that he lost a fight recently. I think he was winning like 4 or 5 in a row, and then lost a fight, which kind of bumped him down a little bit because when you're already he lost a fight to John Hathaway. Well, when you're already a prelim kind of guy, and then because he was 10-0 going into the John Hathaway fight, and he lost to John Hathaway, and then he actually got a rematch in him, and it ended up being a draw. That can't be right. That's got to be a typo.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that kind of derailed him a little bit, but he's a stud, man. The kid's from Germany. He's got great jiu-jitsu. Sean Jordan versus Mike Russo.
You know what? What's his name? Nail put Jordan down. I'm drawing a blank right now on Sean Jordan. I can't think of who he is.
Sean Jordan is the really athletic kid from Strikeforce. He's got like an American flag tattoo on his chest. He used to play college football.
I'm going Mike Russo.
I'm going with Mike Russo as well for the simple fact that
this is Jordan's first fight in the UFC?
It's his second fight in the UFC. He lost a boring decision against Chet Congo, I believe.
Yes, that's how I remember that fight. Mike Russo was going to catch him and put him to sleep.
And the reason why I believe that is because Sean Jordan is the type of cat that when you have a division like the heavyweight division that's so depleted, like he's the type of cat to where you can get by on athleticism for a small period of time. And so when you're fighting dudes like John Hill and Ali Thompson, you know what I mean? Actually, it's his third fight. That Ali Thompson fight was in the UFC. He actually won that fight. You can get away with just sheer athleticism. He doesn't look like he trains super, super hard. I think that had he put everything that he had into training MMA, I think he's so athletic and so explosive, he'd be really good.
If he trained like a GSP.
Right, but Mike Russo is just he's a weird character to me, man. He just looks like he's going to lose every fight. And then, I mean, he's 15-2, and he knocked out Todd Duffy. That's one of the greatest fights in UFC history. You know what I mean? And he was born on September 11th. He's a fucking patriot. So yeah,
Ryan Peter
versus Matushenko. I would say, man, I hate both of these guys, dude.
See, I like Bader and I like Matushenko. I can't pronounce his last name that well.
Bader just when Bader fought Rampage Jackson, and like he had him down, and he was just hitting him with the weakest pitter-patter punches in the world. And he was just securing the win the easiest way he could. Like, it was just so fucking lame to me.
Is that after or before Machida knocked him out?
Who?
Machida.
It was before.
Okay.
So, like,
that's right. He fought Machida summer.
I understand that you're going to use your wrestling against Rampage. You're not going to want to trade with him. But when you get him on the ground and you get a dominant position, like, try to finish him. You know what I'm saying? You're a big boy.
I like Bader. That was a boring fight. I'm great with you, but you're a fighter. Go in there and fight.
Exactly.
If I was Rampage's size, I'd trade with
him. Ooh. I don't know. I'm not saying
I wouldn't let myself get punched in the face.
No,
like,
I'm not.
Really hit me.
I'm not saying
I would have my hands up, chin down, shoulders up, and I'll try double jab cross.
Not a.
I just keep sticking it.
Not a trainer in the world would advise that, though. Like, if you're saying you would trade with an average man your size.
Yeah, but Rampage isn't he just hits hard.
He's got great boxing. Great footwork. He's great angles. Rampage has top 3 best boxing in that division in the entire world. Technical boxing. Great boxing. His boxing is great.
We were talking about kickboxing here too. Who traded with him? Rob, what the fuck is his name? Forrest Griffin traded with him.
And almost got knocked the fuck out. And
he did. And that was very stupid. I was watching that fight. He should just, but.
And he didn't win that fight. Forrest didn't win that fight. Come on.
Wikipedia says he did.
You're right. Wikipedia also says that I beat Andrei Arlovski back in 1997. Well, it doesn't anymore, but it used to. I change it back as often as I can. But hey, the hardest job in the world is being an editor at Wikipedia. Because no bullshit. Like, I guarantee I could go change something in Wikipedia right now, and it'll be back to normal before we even got done with this podcast.
Wait, you can edit? You just edit it flat out?
Yeah, you can make it say whatever the fuck you want.
Any article?
Yeah, watch. Go to Wikipedia right now. Like,
you gotta log in first.
Okay, watch this. I'm going to tell you to type something and then have you read it, and it's going to be spectacular.
I believe. Well, I'm just if I have an account already. I might have done this drunk or something one night. I don't want to waste too much time. I believe you.
Right.
All right, I believe you. Next thing, I'm going to make some crazy shit up.
Wait, but you got to see this. Google Chuck Liddell and put wiki after it.
Because I'll make Brandon Silva undefeated. I think it might just work for your computer or something.
No, dude, it works for everything.
You know what's annoying about Wikipedia is that they have no ads up.
Why is that annoying? That's awesome if you're Wikipedia.
No, because they don't make any money. And they always have that thing going on where like they want a donation or something.
Dude, Wikipedia, it has to make money, dude. You can't run a site this large. Now go to Chuck Liddell's.
I keep hearing your phone vibrate. I keep thinking it's mine.
Go to Chuck Liddell's professional record breakdown. It says mixed martial arts record. Look at his last fight.
His first fight?
The most recent fight.
Rich Franklin.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, refresh.
Hit the refresh button.
All right. Matt Bull.
See? I beat the fuck out of Chuck back in June 12, 2010. The fucked up thing is during that fight, he kicked me in the arm, broke my arm.
That shit's fucking funny.
Isn't that hilarious?
Oh, fuck, dude. So you can't ever get your... That's funny shit.
But my thing is like, this is how hard it would be to be a Wikipedia editor, because I guarantee before we're done with this, it's going to be changed back.
We only got like a couple minutes left, too, of this little podcast we got going on.
Okay, well, let's bang out these last couple fights. And then I want to talk about the Ultimate Fighter real quick, and then we'll end it out. Hold on.
I picked Pettis, you picked Cerrone. That one's out of the way. Guida.
Well, we got David Mitchell versus Simeon Thorson.
That's the first fight.
No, that's on the prelim card still.
All right, I'm picking Thorson heads.
I don't even know who Thorson is. I'll take David Mitchell because I heard his name before.
Tails. Fuck it, you're winning, I guess.
Ryan Bader versus Matushenko. I got Bader.
I like both fighters. I don't want to see them lose. I like to see a 3-round fucking war. And then Matushenko retire.
I think I don't know. I just think Brian Bader sucks really bad. Next fight. Clay Guida versus Aoki. I think Aoki catches him in a triangle, puts him to sleep.
I think Guida is going to dance around the ring, catch him, take him down, hold him down, let him up, take him down, hold him down, elbow, take him down, let him up. That whole little Guida style fight.
This next fight's going to be a good-ass fight. Matt Wyman versus TJ Grant. If something happens to where Cerrone and Pettis isn't fight of the night, I would bet money.
I was just about. I don't know how to slip my mind.
I would bet money that this one is.
I don't even know who to pick in this fight either.
I'm going to take TJ Grant.
I'll pick Wyman then.
Koch versus Ricardo Lamas. I think that Ricardo Lamas is the most underrated fighter in the UFC. I think he's a stud. Not to take anything away from Eric Koch, or Cock, or Coke, however you pronounce it.
Koch is a favorite too in this, no?
What?
Koch is a favorite in this night, right?
I would imagine. Yeah, he's 12-1. His only loss is to Chad Money Mendes. I would take Lamas.
I can't believe you beat Chuck Liddell's ass. That's pretty crazy.
I know, right? Donald Cerrone versus Pettis. You want Pettis. I want Cerrone.
There we go.
Glover.
We didn't even get into the two main cards, the two most important fights of the night, too. Jackson and Teixeira. How do you pronounce his last name?
Teixeira. If you were a true Yankees fan, you would know that because you pronounce it the same way you pronounce your first baseman's Mark Teixeira.
Yeah, but those motherfuckers don't buy our products off our site and shit, so I don't buy their tickets.
Yeah, I don't either. The Yankees suck. Glover's. I think Glover's gonna knock Rampage out.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do.
I think Rampage. You think Rampage is done fighting?
No, he's done fighting the UFC. He won't come back.
He'll get more money at Bellator?
Not more money, but he'll get what he wants. You know what I mean? So,
because the whole Reebok thing that he's complaining about, not wearing Reebok in the ring and the shirt, I think that he's made more of a spectacle of not wearing Reebok and brought more publicity to him being sponsored by Reebok by not being allowed to wear it.
Right. Well, I think that I think the sponsorship views by the UFC are totally garbage.
I think that's perfectly fine.
No, I disagree.
And brought more publicity to him being sponsored by Reebok by not being allowed to wear it.
Right. Well, I think that I think the sponsorship views by the UFC are totally garbage.
I think that's perfectly fine.
No, I disagree.
Well, here's the thing. Listen, as for a website standpoint, now I put a ton of cash into the website. I'm talking servers, $200 a month, $240 a month, cameras, flyers I purchased throughout the years, rebuilding another site, thousands, over $100,000, $200,000, more than that, let's say. Now, I have a writing staff that comes on, and they're good writers. My writers did help me build it, but they didn't risk. They weren't with my company for the whole bit. They weren't with us from day one. Right. It's not like you or somebody else. Now they have a friend who has a clothing line that is going to pay them, $20,000 to put a banner on every article they write. I want a piece of that $20,000. It's going on my site.
Right. Well, that's not the part of the sponsorship that I think is fucked up. First of all, I don't like the fact that they control which sponsors you can and can't have.
Oh, see,
because
no, that's true though. If my writer wants to put up fucking Debbie's dildos, I'm gonna say no. You can't have that.
To a certain extent, I understand.
Yeah.
If it's offensive, but what if, let's say, for argument's sake, let's say you have a list of 10 sponsors that you allow. Your Nikes and your Rosetta Stones and your Condom Depots. Well, what if none of them places want to sponsor me? But I have somebody, say Mountain Dew, wants to give me $1 million per fight to sponsor me, but it's not on the UFC's allowed list. I got to miss out on that $1 million because that's not on your list? Or I gotta miss out on that $10,000. I gotta miss out on that $1,500. You know what I mean?
Why is it not on the? Why would they have? That's the part I don't understand. Why would they not let Mountain Dew on there or a company like that?
Well, not
so basic.
Maybe a company that big they would.
Here's why. Here's exactly why. Because other companies who own other product lines sponsor other fighters, pay a certain amount of money. So I think it's kind of inner competition. Whether or not I'm sponsoring Rampage or not. I'm sponsoring 4 of the fighters on that card who are wearing my product in the cage. So now I'm going to have my competitor's product in there. If I have a deal with Nike, in my contract with Nike, I'm sponsoring these fighters. I'm going to pay the UFC this much money. I don't want Nike. I don't want Reebok, Adidas, Puma, or anyone else, or any other sneaker company being sponsoring any fighters.
But there's a sliding scale that companies got to pay the UFC almost. It could be from $5,000 up to $250,000 to even speak with these fighters about sponsoring them.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
You know what I mean? So why don't you let the fighter be sponsored by Joe Schmo's Crab Shack, and then just take a percentage of that instead of
because it's a breach of contract with Nike. Reebok and Nike are both competitors. That's like you having
that's one instance though. What if a local restaurant in my town that I train in?
You're good. You're fine.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you are.
What if they don't? But what if they don't have the money?
They don't have the money. Yeah, then they're fucking beat. But if that local restaurant, if it's a local the local establishments in your area don't have to abide by those certain rules because they're local geographically, from what I understand. So if your restaurant, if your Tito's Burritos in Jackson, Michigan, wanted to give you 50 grand so you can pay the UFC to wear their shirt, then you're good.
I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, you're fine. I know for a fact because I remember when, from Jimmy and all the other fighters. If it's like if you're fighting in Jersey and it's like a local place, you can put them on your banner. If they have the money they pay the UFC for, you can put them on your shirt too. Because it doesn't directly compete with any of their other sponsors. You know what I mean?
That's stupid. I think that
it is.
Because when you're sponsoring a fighter, you're sponsoring that fighter. You're not competing with anybody.
But the UFC's brand who's bringing that fighter down the runway onto the cage, showcasing that particular product.
Well, but what I'm saying though is
I see your point. I understand what you're saying. I'm arguing it from the business side of it. As the owner.
So you don't think that Teixeira knocks out Rampage?
No. I think Teixeira gets TKO'd.
Really?
Yeah.
We can definitely put a wager on that as well.
And I'm not a Rampage fan. I think Teixeira... I don't know. I think Rampage really needs to win this fight in order to do something.
If he wins this fight, he'll stay in the UFC.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I do.
I think he's pretty stubborn.
No, Rampage has a legitimate bitch, dude. He really does. Like, look, I don't think Dana White likes Rampage. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand that you have to.
No. But Rampage, he wants to be a movie star. He doesn't want to fight.
I get that. That he takes the shit too far. I agree with that 100%. But look at the people that they put him in there with. I honestly believe they purposely put Rampage in there with wrestlers.
Bro, you're a fighter. Then fucking learn how to not get taken down.
Yeah, but every single fight that you get matched up with,
first of all, that's the UFC's fault because the UFC.
That's my point. You have somebody as marketable as Rampage Jackson.
Put him in with Slugger. He has a chance now. He has the opportunity now. If Teixeira takes him down, Teixeira's a pussy.
He won't take him down.
Teixeira. Rampage says he's going to take him down and use his jits. Teixeira's known to be a striker and a banger. He has somebody who's going to bang with him, like that other kid, that Machado, whatever he fought. Maldonado. Yeah. That kid's fucking tough. I do not want to fight that kid at a bar. But
no, just because you couldn't knock him out.
Why?
You're like, done. I'm fine, dude. I'm done hitting you. I'm sorry.
Like here's fucking $100. Go home.
Yeah, I'm done hitting you. You're obviously not gonna beat me up, and I can't knock you out. We're done.
He'll finish Rampage. If that fight goes the way it did with him, Rampage is not gonna. He's just too old and just done with it. He don't care.
I don't think he's too old. I don't think he's too old. I think that
not old in the sense of his age. He's been in the sport for too long.
I think Glover Teixeira now beats Rampage of 5 years ago. The kid hits way too fucking hard. Way too hard.
We just said before, Rampage hits hard too, and I haven't seen Teixeira's chin.
True.
But
good point.
That kid, Maldonado cracked him and dazed him a few times in that fight.
You're right.
So
Rampage lands that shot, he knocks him out.
Yeah, Rampage catches him with a left hook that he knocked out Randall with. It's going to be a fucking little short.
Randall is still laying on that same canvas.
Like, they had him cut weight to wake him up.
They had to shut the fucking venue down because they couldn't have no more events there. They couldn't even tear the cage down. He's still laying there.
Wow.
Yeah, he tweets from that same exact spot. So, all right, main event, Dodson versus Demetrius Johnson. I'm not impressed with this fight.
Johnson.
Me too. I hate this weight class. I feel like as
25ers?
They're not. They're 35ers, aren't they?
I said 35ers. No, they're 25ers.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, they're flyweights.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they're 4'11", 125 pounds, kids.
I think I could beat one of them guys up. Is that naive to think?
Yeah.
Why, though?
It just is.
But here's my thing, though. Like,
same thing with the Ronda Rousey thing. Like when we thought we could beat Ronda Rousey.
That was Cyborg. I'd fuck Cyborg up, dude. Flat the fuck out. She's little, dude. She's fucking little. I would throw her ass around. They're
25.
25ers. You're right.
Yeah. I got a video going up. Anyone watching the podcast, come to Budasport.com. Sean Santel is a 25er out of Jersey. He's like 11 or 12-2, and like 9 wins or 10 wins by subs.
Well, here's the thing though. Like if
you'll see that coming up.
If I get my hands on John Dodson, dude, He's 125 pounds.
Yeah, but he's going to hit you 45 times on the way in.
You're right. But I'm just saying if I get my hands on him,
He's still going to choke you out.
No, it's over. I'm going to ragdoll him. I'm 205 pounds of bang. Seriously, though.
Are you nuts?
No. That's just...
Okay, here's one. How about the kid short stack by you?
What about him?
Are you fucking him up?
I trained with him multiple times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did he ever sub you or?
He's too little. I'm manhandling. And he's good.
And I know what you're saying. I know it because I've rolled with smaller guys who are really badass. I wrote 45ers still get me sometimes with the good 45ers, but that's with a gi on.
Right.
In no gi, I'm not really getting subbed out by that many 45ers. But these are 25ers. They're really small.
I've never been subbed by short stack. I've rolled with him probably 25 times. Ever. And he's tough.
The kid by me, Shorty will sub you.
I'm not saying that. Oh, in a jiu-jitsu match, he probably will. But I'm saying if we're standing and I were to get my hands on John Dodson and like maybe up against the cage, I'm launching that motherfucker. I'm power bombing him, all types of shit. I'm turning.
Maybe Demetrius Johnson's winning this fight, and Demetrius Johnson will beat your ass too.
He's so fast, I couldn't get my hands on him. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not naive, but just imagine what you would do if you got your hands on a 125-pound man.
I'm trying to think of how little that is. How big is Cody?
Cody weighs 133.
I think they're smaller than Cody.
Yeah, they are.
No, even like in height too.
Yeah, Cody's like damn near the same size as me.
Yeah.
So I'm issuing a challenge right now to John Dodson in a street fight. The winner gets to fight Cyborg for the Matt Bull Street Fight Championship.
That's badass. That's why you're a G.
I would fight John Dodson. I think I could fuck him up.
I think you're fucking delusional.
You understand my point a little bit. Even if you don't agree with me, you understand my point.
I think I could fuck up everybody. That's my opinion. With the right kind of training,
I'm talking about right now. Like put my headset down, take the microphone off, and walk right outside and fuck John Dodson up.
That's not happening. You're gonna get beat up. He's a professional athlete.
Anybody at my weight that's in the UFC would destroy me. I'm not saying that. But I have a very, very huge sizable advantage. I have 75 pounds.
I know that. Look at the first UFC.
205, bang.
Look at the first UFC, what happened.
I have more training than most of them dudes.
You also have no wind either.
You're right. Ooh, you're right.
You got about 45 seconds of trying to catch Dodson before he's on your back like a monkey.
But in my defense, I said if I catch him.
He'll jump on your back. And he'll just be trying to grab him off you and flip him around.
I'm stronger than John Dodson.
In a grappling match, yeah, you're definitely stronger than him. You can lay more weight on him. But he's technically going to be a lot better.
Yeah,
Why are we seriously fucking discussing this?
Yes.
No, this is retarded. No.
The Ultimate Fighter. Did you watch The Ultimate Fighter?
I did. I did watch The Ultimate Fighter.
I
turned on the last hour. It was a 2-hour episode. I DVR'd the first half, though. I didn't watch it yet. I'm watching it with my girl today.
What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I was impressed with Uriah Hall. And I've seen Uriah fight here in Jersey. He looked good, man. Fast.
What did you think about the other black kid from Atlanta?
When did he fight?
Middle of the show. You probably caught him if you watched the last hour. Real good shape.
I might have just seen that. Might have been the first fight I turned on.
He had like some funky little braids, really stiff body kicks, and he's a pro boxer. And it looked like he was going to be really good on his arm, and then shot in a beautiful double leg, took him down, finished the kid with some punches. I forget his name. I got to look his name.
I think it turned out that fight. There was only 2 black kids.
There was another black kid that he was mainly a grappler. He was a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu fighter, but he wasn't as impressive as the other guys.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again tonight.
What do you think?
I did like the layout.
What do you? Me too. I like the layout. I like the wild card situation. What do you think the chances of Chael Sonnen? And I know that we're skipping ahead 13 weeks,
Yeah.
but this has been a topic of debate in my household and around my circle of friends on Chael Sonnen's chances against Jon Jones. Now, to lead into this, you know where I stand on Jon Jones. You know, I've been saying this shit for years. I've been saying it since we were in Boston and partying with him. You know what I mean? So the kid's amazing. He's the greatest MMA fighter in the history of the sport, in my opinion. It's debatable, but I think everybody needs to have him in their top 3. With that being said, in your opinion, what are Chael Sonnen's chances?
If Chael Sonnen has his head right, okay, he can. What Jones said like the other day, he can take him down and dry hump him for 5 rounds. He can take him to the ground, hold him there, okay, and beat him up for 5 rounds. If he does that in the first 2 rounds, going into the third, he's taking his heart. Come 4th round, he's beating him. You know, he's just going to wear him out and wear him out. I don't think he's going to finish him, but I think he can wear out a nice decision on him. And that being said, I mean, I think Jones could probably knock him out too, or TKO him.
Jones can finish the fight any way he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Jones can win this fight any way he wants.
As long as Sonnen doesn't get triangled, I mean, he could take this fight in the ground and hold it on the ground. He's not going to worry about getting cut. I mean, from his back, he's going to control him too much.
What do you think Jones' jiu-jitsu is like from his back?
It's good, you know. I mean, it's got to be good.
The kid's great, right? I mean,
he's good because he's pure.
Do you think that he's overlooking this fight? Because I get the notion that Jon Jones thinks and acts like he's going to walk right through Chael Sonnen, and I think that's the biggest mistake of his career. Because
and Chael Sonnen is fucking smart.
He's the smartest fighter in the UFC. Agreed.
Agreed. On paper and in common sense, and how he fucking plays his career.
Right.
Because Chael Sonnen, no one knew who he was 5 years ago.
He's coming off a loss and talked his way into a title fight. Coming off a loss.
Yeah. But Chael Sonnen is being extra sweet to Jon Jones. They're fucking Jonesying, they're buddying around.
But why though? Why do you think it's out of respect, or do you think that's one of Chael's plays?
It's one of Chael's plays. You know, of course, he's gonna play the nice guy because he's such a dick. You know, on camera, and he's so real polite to you. Hey, Jones, but I'm talking.
But there's so much sarcasm. I love it.
You know, this is the game. You know, this is like this. How you know? I'm just saying this shit, and he lets Jones know what his deal is. You know, Dan Miller said that Chael Sonnen's the nicest fighter he's ever met, ever fought, and legitimately, he's a nice fighter. His book is sick too, by the way. A little plug there for your Chael.
Yeah, right.
What the hell's it called? I got it in my iPhone, in my iBooks.
Are you sure it's not called 205 Pounds of Bang?
No.
Oh,
cool.
That's just me. I should write a book that says that.
That was the name of my porno when I made one.
Tell me that's not the most cleverest one-liner I've ever came up with. I'm 205 pounds of bang.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I stole it from a battle rapper.
Did you really? Mm-hmm. The voice of reason, Chael Sonnen.
Right.
There's your plug.
With all that being said, how does that fight play out, in your opinion?
It plays such like Jon Jones thing is going to walk through him. Because Jon Jones thinks that he's the baddest fucking 205er and possibly fighter in the world, which he's not far from, the exception of Anderson Silva. And I think he might lose his fight. Hopefully Chael can get some good TRT.
Well, here's my thing though. Let's fast forward to that fight. Say Chael Sonnen wins.
Okay.
Do you agree that the UFC explodes with Chael Sonnen as a champion?
What?
Do you agree that the UFC explodes to another level with Chael Sonnen as a champion?
No.
I do. Chael Sonnen is the most marketable fighter.
They're already popular. It's not gonna. No.
Chael Sonnen can bring in fair weather fans. Chael Sonnen can bring in viewers that don't normally watch the UFC on a regular basis.
You know what? You have. I see your point now. I see what you're trying to say. Did you see his interview with Jim Rome?
Yeah.
Where he said he left the division. I left 185.
Yeah.
I let Anderson Silva have the title.
Yeah.
And Jerome's like, no, you lost. He's like, no, I think you have your facts wrong.
Right.
He's
I
awesome.
want to.
He's great. Like, he's on UFC Tonight now. He's just marketable and funny, but he's not going to catapult him to a new level.
I disagree. When I figured out who Chael Sonnen actually was, it's impossible not to like him. When I figured out that Chael Sonnen wasn't an ignorant idiot and he was actually a genius, it's impossible not to like him. It's impossible.
I like him because he's a Republican.
Anyway, it's impossible to not like him and to not see that the quality that he brings. You know what I mean? Like, he's
top shelf.
He is a WWF superstar wrapped into a real fighter's body. He's got that pizzazz and that charisma.
He's a politician.
Whatever.
He took what he does best, what he's been training for his whole life, other than wrestling, and then put it together with MMA. He is a great politician, is what he is. And he took the politics of the sport and took it to a completely different level. Completely different level. He brought a fake belt to a press conference. Motherfucker. Like, that shit's no one does that shit.
No, and he every question that was asked about that belt, he said it was the real belt.
Like, he's fucking shot.
And he doesn't, dude. He sticks to that point, no matter how ludicrous and ridiculous it is. You gotta.
And when the fight's over, though, he's like, "Whatever, did a good job, blah blah blah," and like he never talked shit. Like, he never was a fake champion. And then like a week later, he's in an interview again saying, "I let him win that fight."
Right.
I didn't want the belt.
I think that if you can have somebody like that as the head of your company, you can't promote Chael Sonnen like that if he's not a champion. You can't throw all your cards on the table.
Can't promote Chael Sonnen like that. Period. Chael Sonnen has to promote Chael Sonnen,
and
like
he
that.
will. But that's my point. You can't give him that extra oomph if he's not your champion because it just doesn't look right. If he beats Jon Jones, you are going to see the popularity of the UFC rise. Mark my words.
I'll let you call that one. It's not going to rise that much more, I don't think.
Well, I'm not saying to extensive amounts. It's already a heavily popular sport, but it's going to be noticeable. It's going to be noticeable when you have a man like that in the driver's seat who. Because
pay-per-views, he just talks shit. But I think part of the mystique about Chael is it's always him trying to get the title. You know, it's cool when he doesn't win. I feel bad for you, Chael. It sucks. I watch it because I want you to be a champion. Once you're a champion, I'm gonna be like, oh, you already got the title. Oh well. You know, to watch you defend it is different than watching you try and get it.
So you think the allure will wear off once if he does win it?
I think so, because it's like he's always come up short a little bit.
Right.
You know, it was the Olympics too, right? He fell short, second place.
Right.
WC, he won the title, but fucking what's his name never made weight.
Polio.
Yeah, whatever the hell his name is. And so.
Well, in their first fight, he tapped and and then tried saying he didn't tap.
What? Which one?
In the first fight with Filio.
He did. I think what happens with Chael is by instinct he taps, but doesn't want to.
No, he knows, dude.
You think? I don't think he plays that game.
Yeah, he does.
He's a dick. The fake tap game.
Yeah.
I hate when fuckers do that.
Like, oh, am I punching? Am I tapping? I didn't tap.
I would just rather fucking eye gouge you than fake tap.
I'm surprised he doesn't. I'm surprised, dude. I'm surprised he hasn't incorporated some professional wrestling moves into his training camp. So we figured out Cerrone versus Pettis, Rampage versus Teixeira. I'm taking Cerrone and Teixeira. Nick's taking Pettis and Rampage. If you lose one fight,
one eyebrow, you lose both fights, you get both eyebrows off.
Right. Well, if you lose one fight, that means that you win one fight, though. So I mean, we each have to shave one off.
Well, if you lose,
yeah,
either I'm losing both or you're losing both, or I'm keeping one and you're keeping one.
So technically,
that sucks for both of us.
Yeah. Well, then that makes it even though. So
then we need to pick one more fight as the tiebreaker.
Well, no, because if let's say for instance Cerrone wins, you got to shave an eyebrow off, and then at least you still have an opportunity not to be the only one without an eyebrow. So if Cerrone and Rampage win, we're both going to be eyebrowless next Thursday. One of them. I like that. Only way that you're not losing the eyebrow is if you win both fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Sorry about the longevity. We're a little long-winded, but we're funny as fuck. Buddha Sport podcast. Go to buddhasport.com. Sign up, register, leave comments, tell us.
Well, listen, real quick, guys. We got a forum. Forum should be done in a couple weeks. I got the web guy. He's working on that now forever, so we can start chatting, bullshitting. You know, all your keyboard warriors can get in there and pretend to be tough, like Matt is, trying to fight UFC fighters that are 125 pounds. The shop right now, you know, we're hooked up with Amazon. We got a bunch of products on the site. Anything you want, we're going to be doing a bunch of product reviews on gis, fight shorts, gym bags, gloves. We're going to let you know what we think of them, so you don't get robbed, you know, and buy some shitty-ass gear, especially with the gis. For a lot of you guys who train, you know, it's tough to spend $200 on a gi and have it rip. So we're going to be going through a lot of the gis and testing them out on you. And we have the iPhone app coming out, which we've been talking about for years, but do some turkey, and he takes forever. And now that we have iOS 6 out, he had to redo the whole app. So we're going to come to iOS 6. So that will be out shortly. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. It's Matt Bull. I'm Nick Mirabella. You can find me on Twitter at Buddhasport. Matt, you can find him at I'm a Homo. No, you changed that, right?
Yeah, I didn't get rave reviews with the I'm a Homo. It's actually at the Maserati Life, so you can check that out.
Yeah.
I also
How's your Maserati?
It's not necessarily meaning the Maserati, the car. You're not the first person to ask that question. It's a battle rap podcast that we got going on. Check it out. It's called the Maserati Life. You can find it on Tumblr. Have a good day. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Check out buddhasport.com. If you don't.
And we might do a podcast on Monday and Thursdays for you guys. So you actually might get them on Tuesday and Friday. So
if not, we'll be back for sure next Thursday. You'll get it on Monday. Mahalo.
All right, see you later. Later, guys.